10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And fans, due to unforeseen circumstances, the game tonight has been postponed.
Right now, we're in an absolutely unprecedented situation.
And this is about slowing the spread of this and about flattening the curve of this.
This astounding and unprecedented story continues to evolve.
On November 5th, the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame would have celebrated another sold-out induction celebration dinner that would have introduced our next class of inductees. However, due to the current situation we are all experiencing, the Board of Governors unanimously decided to pause this year's evening celebration. Even though we can't be together in one room, it doesn't mean we can't celebrate. Hello friends, my name is Javed Khan, President of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. I'd like to welcome you to a Hall Star Tribute, a night of conversation and celebration in a very quiet hall. I'd like to turn it over to your host, Rod Black.
Thank you, Javed, and hi, everybody. Welcome to the Stronach Aurora Recreation Complex, home of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. I guess I can take this off because, well, I'm the only one here. Kind of lonely this year, but it's a little bit different, as we all know. A little strange, of course. Tonight we should be at St. Andrew's College with the class of 2020 and the induction ceremony, but instead of inducting and eating and drinking and laughing and crying and even hugging, I'll give you a little COVID hug at least, instead we're Zooming and reminiscing, and we're going to talk with some of the stars of the past in this virtual ceremony. David Moreland IV will be here. Brian and Karen Stemmel will be here. And also we're going to have a special hockey hot stove with three guys, three Hall of Famers, all named Mike. That's right. So sit back and relax and enjoy. Yep. You got nothing else better to do. And please put your virtual hands together and join the Mayor of Aurora. Here is Tom Marakos.
Well, thank you, Rod. Good evening, everyone. I'm so pleased to be able to welcome you all to the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame Hall Star Night. Now, I continue to be amazed at the resilience and commitment shown by our community. This is such a fantastic event, and I'm so proud that the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame has kept the show going despite the challenging circumstances. What a unique way of celebrating the honored members tonight. Congratulations, and thank you for your enthusiasm in raising our community up. So welcome to all, congratulations to all, and thank you to Rod Black for your hosting tonight. Have an excellent evening, everyone. Now back to you, Rod, and on with the show.
We are heroes and dreamers, we are restless believers, stronger than ever, never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now.
So first off the tee, literally and figuratively, in our Hall Star Night, is David Moreland, Aurora Sports Hall of Famer, better known as the Fourth. And of course, he'd be on a golf course. David, how are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, trying to survive this COVID year.
Well, you're obviously suffering a lot. You're on a golf course. Tell me where you are, what you're doing today.
I'm actually in Orlando, Florida, actually playing a golf course that I've lived here for over 20 years and never played. So fellow tour player Patrick Sheen invited me out. So we're going to still try and stay in shape and get ready for next year.
What have the last 8 months been for you? I mean, we've been talking about it. Here I am. We're supposed to be at the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame tonight, inducting some people. And we have to take a bit of a break, a bit of a pause. Has your life been disrupted?
Yeah, it's, but in some ways it's good. It's, I had 5 months off from Champions Tour, played well in California, and then basically shut it down. Missed the playoffs by 2 guys. So be getting ready for next year, mid-February, for Champions. And my European tour status, they canceled the whole year. So talk about shutdown. But, in other ways, got to spend some more family time and good quality time with my daughter and wife. And so from that aspect, it's good.
If you have to hit a shot, feel free.
Okay.
We're live. But
I got one more group before I go. So
good.
We'll pan you around. We still got some time, but we got a beautiful day in Florida and looking forward to playing.
Yeah. Tell me about what it meant to you when you got the call to the hall for the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame.
It's home, so very special, always be Canadian, and Aurora's home. And that's what it means to me. So it's an honor to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and glad to be a part of it.
In life, we sometimes have a tendency to look ahead rather than look at the present, and also, embrace the past. And I think that's what really Hall of Fames really do. Did you have that night, did you get some flashbacks, a chance to reminisce a little bit more, those moments, those aha moments in your career?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's we get so caught up in the daily life, we kind of sometimes forget, some of our more successful moments. And golf is one of those sports that can beat you down in a hurry. So it's good to remember where you've been, where you are, and also where you want to go in your future.
Yeah, when I think of you, I think of covering you for so many years. You must have started when you were 10, I guess. You're like Benjamin Button. You never age. But I honestly think about, when you played on home soil and you came so close at the Canadian Open. I mean, I guess that's a little bit heartbreaking because you didn't win, but it must have been so satisfying to play so well north of the border.
Yeah, for me, that was the one tournament that I always wanted to win was the Canadian Open. For Weirzy, as a kid, he had built the locker and had a green jacket put in it. So for him, it was Augusta. For me, it was winning the Canadian Open at Glen Abbey. But we came close, and still, you never know. Might be the oldest Canadian winner.
I still think you're only 35, but during this time, and maybe this has to do, with your family too, and maybe golf is a really good metaphor for the times we're going through, because it is a game also of missed shots and failures and isolation at times. What kind of advice would you give to parents who are watching right now and kids who are watching right now about the reset and moving forward, especially going through this adversity and challenge that they just have gone through?
I think for a lot of us, we get to appreciate how important family is and spending quality time. We get so busy with our iPhones and computers that we neglect the personal interaction with people. Get closer to your family, enjoy them while you can, because, once this does go away, we get so busy that we don't give enough attention to our kids.
What do you miss about Canada right now? What do you miss about Aurora right now?
Hockey season. Hockey season. But biggest thing, fall. The autumn, the colors. If you notice out here, it's all green. So we don't get the fall colors. We woke up this morning and it was 60 degrees without any humidity the first time in I don't know how long. And it was like, this almost feels like home.
It does. Well, home misses you, and I know you miss home. Who's going to win the Masters, by the way? Give me 3 names.
Man, let's go with the Canadian. let's go with Weersy, number 2. He's coming off a good finish on the Champions Tour. Let's see if we can pull out a big one.
Yeah. Well, we'll be following you, pal, as you move forward. Good luck today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a great Hall of Famer. Do you still put your sweater on every once in a while, that nice green sweater? You never want a green jacket, but you got to.
I never won a green jacket, but I do have Aurora Sports Hall of Fame sweater.
And you will always be a Hall of Famer, my man. Thank you so much, David.
Thanks, Rod. Have a great day.
See you, David.
What a great conversation with David Moreland IV. Wouldn't we all want to be on a golf course like he is? Now, I want to make a special thanks to all of our members of the Board of Governors. And also, let's hear from other honored members of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm Robert Bedard, Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, honored member, class of 2013.
Hey folks, Bruce Stafford here, honored member of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2014.
Hello everyone, I'm Lowell McClenny, Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, honored member, class of 2015.
Alan Dean, an honored member of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. I was inducted in 2015.
Hey, I'm Bob Wall from the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. As an honored member of the class of 2017.
Hi, I am Paulina Allen, Aurora Sport Hall of Fame member, class of 2018.
Hello, I'm Claire Doolittle, brother of Loring Doolittle, Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, honored member, class of 2018.
Hello, I'm Bob Bain, Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, honored member, class of 2018.
Hi, I'm Jim Clark, Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2019.
Hi, I'm Ryan Gardner, and I'm Dave Gardner, his father, and we are both honored members of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame for 2019.
And you're watching Hall Star Night with Rod Black. Enjoy.
We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now.
Our Hall Star Night continues from a very quiet hall. Joining us, so happy to have two Aurora Sports Hall of Famers, brother and sister, who are in their own bubble. There they are, Karen and Brian Stemmel. Hello to the both of you.
Hi, Rod.
Hey, Rod. How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, let's talk about the fact that we should probably be at a ceremony tonight. You'd be in your green sweaters. You know, we would be inducting someone tonight. I mean, that's secondary, obviously, to what's going on in the world. How have the last 8 months been for both of you?
You go ahead.
I usually talk more anyway. You know what? Actually, it's been really great. We've been making the most of it. We've definitely been able to get to know each other better. I have 3 kids, grade 8, 9, and 12 this year, and husband working from home and 2 dogs. So very busy house, but we've been safe. We've been seeing people at a distance and making the most of it. We're really lucky, Brian and I. Our parents built a beautiful cottage up north, and we've been able to spend time up there this summer. So it's actually been pretty good, considering.
Yeah, great for me too. The cottage was awesome because our kids are great pals, and they love to play up there, and all the activities that they do and that a lake offers them is pretty awesome. And they're in school. My kids, I have 12-year-old twin girls. They're in school now, full day, and they've been troopers wearing masks every day. And they seem to enjoy it, love going to school, and everything seems to be fairly normal, even though we don't get out much.
Yeah, I want to throw a few things at you. First of all, I'm sure you probably get it too. I mean, both of you have been such outstanding Canadian sports heroes in so many ways. You're Hall of Famers. But do you get a sense of how important sports has been in your lives and how important sports is moving forward, especially when we've been locked down and shut down the way we have? Brian, I'll let you start.
Yeah, for me, for sure. Even if it's just been around our house here in Toronto, I get out with the kids every day and either scooter down the street, rollerblade, bike, or in the basketball court in the backyard, or in our trampoline. And basically that's how we've been staying active and getting outside, making it feel normal because my kids love sports as much as I do.
Yeah, we've been trying to be as active as possible as well. We have 2 crazy dogs, so we get down to any kind of ravine or park we can, and we'll run around with the dogs and just trying to make the most of it. Luckily, my son can play a bit of hockey. My daughter's playing some rep volleyball. They're allowed to practice, so we're trying to stay as active as possible.
Yeah, I love those green sweaters you're wearing. It's so emblematic of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, which, you know, Brian, you were one of the first inductees back in 2013, Karen in 2016. You look at those sweaters, you look at, you know, your lives and how connected it has been through sport. What does it mean to be called a Hall of Famer, Karen?
I have to tell you, it was one of the biggest honors of my life, especially being one of the few women that have been inducted into the hall. And I look back at that night. It was one of the most memorable nights that I had. I had 30 people come with me, friends and family. And I'm just so proud to be from Aurora. Such great memories going to Aurora High School. I actually met a gentleman in the dog park the other day that went to Aurora, and he remembered a crazy party we had at my parents' house. And it's just a huge honor and great memories of that night.
And Bobby Orr showed up for.
Yes,
so that was pretty good.
My teammate Lisa Savajarvi surprised me, and I was in the hall. And someone said, Karen, you've got to come here. And I went out to the reception area and I looked and I heard someone say Bobby Orr. And I look and there's Bobby Orr. And Lisa goes, surprise. And he goes, Karen. And she arranged it that he would come up to Aurora that night and surprise me. And he sat with us at dinner, sat beside my son who plays hockey. And it was over the top. It was
off the charts. Brian, you know, your career is full of so many triumphs, near tragedy as well. You've become such a great inspiration to so many people. What about you? You know, belonging to a hall like this, Aurora was a big part of your life.
Yeah, it was great to be inducted. I like dusting off my sweater every year, and I looked at it, I'm like 2013, Brian Stemmel.
Hey, buddy, it still fits too. Look at that.
I know. That's right. So yeah, it was really great. I thought it was going to be a little cheesy, honestly. And when I got there, it was so grand and awesome and amazing. And all these wonderful athletes that I knew who lived in Aurora and grew up there, like Jim Elder, the great equestrian, and Frank Stronach. Yeah, everybody knows Frank. He's awesome. Yeah. And he's the greatest guy. And then Cal Bouchard, people say, you know, who's that guy? And I said, well, she was one of Canada's greatest basketball players. So it's great to be inducted into the first year there, and it's really grown since and become a great tradition and event, and it's an honor to be in the hall.
Well, you're honored members forever. You know, there's so many things that, you know, everybody watching would love to hear from you. But I think what I'd like to hear, especially from your perspective, being brother and sister, being so close, and you guys are like best friends, and yes, and you got to be safe distance best friends, but that's okay. But you have grown together in sport. What has sport meant to you? What it has brought to you as a family?
I think about that a lot because my kids are in school right now and they're not able to play team sports. And that's what they love to do. And not because of me, just because they love to be a great part of a team and friendship and so many things that it builds. And I remember when I was a kid going to school, if I didn't have sport, I wouldn't have anything because it was the only thing that I looked forward to. I wasn't the greatest student. I just wanted to go out at recess and play baseball or soccer or whatever opportunities came with going to school. So sport was massive for me in building my confidence. And I hope it does the same for my kids once they get back at it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Brian mentions confidence. I remember being in grade 8 and not being really a confident kid. And when I went to Georgian Peak Ski Club, where we grew up skiing, every weekend, my confidence came back because I was a good skier and I was confident on the hill. And then I'd go back to school and I'd be a bit shy. And I think sport has done that for our children as well. We all ski at Georgian Peak still. And they play any kind of sport and every kind of sport you can think of. I just tried to throw them in as many as possible. And I really think it builds confidence, and it just my kids have found their passion in a lot of sports, and it's just a big part of our family.
You know, you've had so many accolades, your resumes read long. Give me one moment that if you had one moment that you still dream about, that you'd love to recreate the magic of sport for both of you. That aha or YouTube moment. What is it, Karen?
Okay, I'm bursting to say it because it's the one moment that I wish I could relive because it just seems surreal. So it was 1984 Olympics, Sarajevo. We're getting ready for the opening ceremonies. Our dad had flown over with Lisa Savage-Arby's dad, Joe and Wilf, up there in the stands. And they started arranging how we were going to walk in. And I got right in the front row. And I was walking in the front row of Team Canada in through that stadium, opening ceremonies behind Gaetan Boucher, who was the flag bearer, and just being so thrilled and proud to be from Canada and from Aurora. And my high school sent me a telegram at the Olympics, Aurora High School. And I'll just never forget being so proud of walking into that opening ceremonies, being from Aurora and from Canada.
That's so cool. Brian?
I can't think. I went through about 40 that I'd redo because I messed up. And then I went through some that I'd like to relive again. But what I was really thinking about was my days in Aurora and playing football for the William Wolverines and having Mr. Atkins coach us. And the quarterback went down with an injury and they put me in as quarterback. And oh my gosh, it was a disaster. I got nailed on the first play and I said, okay, no more of that. And we just went on to have great fun and great memories. I wish I could have had more of those games because there were only 7 of them and we were 0-7. But going to Williams and being part of sports there and the soccer team and the football team and everything else that I played was something that I'd like to do again.
Yeah, well, that says a lot about both of you. I mean, those kind of moments. I wish I had Bobby Orr, Karen, to bring in for you.
I call him.
I'm very lonely here right now. It's supposed to be a gala, but I'm going to give you a toast. We can't drink in here, so I'll give you the old. There it is, the Canadian toast to both of you. Class of 2013, class of 2016.
Cheers, Rod.
The classiest people I know. I love you both. I'll give you a big COVID hug, and we'll see you soon. Stay safe. Thank you for being great Canadians. Thank you for making Aurora proud.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Rod. You're a legend.
You're the
Appreciate
man.
it.
See you, buddy.
Love you guys.
Hello, it's Javid Khan, once again, president of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Hey, what a great conversation with Brian and Karen Stemmel. Got some more to come, a special hot stove with the 3 mics. I want to take this opportunity to also thank our partners and sponsors who make up the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, and a special thanks to all the volunteers who put tireless effort to make up not only the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, but to help us with all of our event celebrations. Now back to our show.
Hi, my name's Paul Riley, and I'm the portrait artist at the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm Jim Lang from 105.9 The Region, and you are watching Hall Star Night with the broadcast legend Rod Black, who's an all-star in his own right. Rod, you're the man. It is amazing to see the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame still celebrating its honored member during these troubled times. Incredible people like Brian and Karen Stemmel and the 3 mics, including the Popcorn Kid, former Leafs goalie Mike Palmateer. Enjoy the night. Rod Black is the man. We got this.
We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now.
Well, our Hall Star Night continues for the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, and it would only be appropriate to have the hockey guys, the hot stove. We have got the classes actually of 2016 and 2017, Mike Kitchen, Mike Palmateer, Mike Murphy, the 3 mics, and a Rod. I should change my name to Mike. Hi guys, how's everybody?
Good. We're all doing great.
Here, you know what? I should actually get ready for this because this is going to be a hot stove. So I just want to be appropriate here, you guys. All righty? There you go. There we go. Because we're going to talk some hockey here. I know, Murph, you're going to like that, eh?
Yeah.
First of all, let's just, I'm going to throw it around and let you guys take it because everybody wants to hear from you. I mean, you've done so much in your hockey careers. You know, we all love the game. But can you imagine what the game has gone through, what our lives have gone through over the last 6 months? Murph, I'll start with you. Kit, you come in, and Palma, you go right after him.
Well, we're all blessed to have been in the NHL for a long period of time, both as players, as coaches, and I know Pommy as a scout. And one of the common bonds we have are the Maple Leafs. We all have worked for the Maple Leafs in some capacity. Mike, of course, and myself being coaches, and Pommy being a great goaltender. So we've been blessed to be in the league. And we're also blessed to have been in the Hall of Fame. It was humbling and honoring for myself, and I'm sure it was for the other two Mikes, that when we were put into the Hall of Fame, it was a big thrill, and it's great to sit here and chat with those guys because I don't see them much anymore. I see Pommy; he's usually going down number 1 fairway the last time I saw him, and Kitch, I haven't seen him in a while. He's usually zipping by in his boat. So that's that's the lifestyle now.
Kitch, first of all, congratulations, brand new grandpa, to twins as well. It is kind of cool to get together. I mean, it's strange though that we have to all get together via Zoom, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. I mean, it's certainly different times we're in right now. But I think back with this Zoom call that we're having now. I played junior hockey and with Mike Palmatier, and it was my first year with the Marlies, which was quite something and an eye opener for me to watch someone that acrobatically play that position. And no wonder you have bad knees. And then moving forward, being down there at Maple Leaf Gardens, and moving forward, being able to coach with Murph there. We were coached together with the Leafs, which was a terrific honor for me. And I'm a country boy from Schaumburg, a town of 800 people. And going down into the bright lights of the city was pretty special. And then actually, getting a chance to play, we all played in the league. We've had a chance to coach in the league. So basically, hockey's been really good to us. It's been a great game for all of us. We're able to play, we're able to coach, and be involved in different ways in the game. So it's just been terrific. And then for the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame to recognize, to me and for me to be part of the hall, it's very, very special for me. I mean, it's just something I never thought I'd ever achieve, actually, as a young boy. So this is quite an honor for me to be part of the hall.
Yeah, that's cool. Palmy, you got used to wearing a mask. I don't know how used you got wearing to a mask over the last 8 months. I know it's been different, but man, you were the man behind the mask with the Leafs and the Caps. I'm sure you see these guys, it brings back a few memories as well for you.
Well, it certainly was. The first thing I was going to bring up was Kitch and this young little whippersnapper. I was a year older, back with the Marlies, right? And Kitch, boy, you, for a guy your size, you were as competitive and more competitive than I was. And just, it was so neat that here we are, 40 some odd years later, and seeing these guys and playing for me. First time was playing with Murph. Murph, you were a Marley too, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm an old Marley though.
Yeah.
I go back to 67, 68, 69.
Yeah, practice. Did you play at George Bell?
As a junior B. Marley Junior B played there, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
It was a new rink back then,
Yeah, it was fun. It was a great career, and I did wear masks that, for the most part, had no padding in them, and it's starting to show now. But anyway, getting involved in being elected to the Hall of Fame of Aurora, I moved here right after hockey was over for me back in 1985, and it's pretty well been my home since then. We raised both our kids, our girls, and we moved out to Uxbridge a few years ago, and now just moved back into Aurora again. Finally, it's just great to be back. And Murph, we got to get a golf game soon.
Yeah. Rod, you talked about the acrobatics. I mean, I laughed at Pommy in the outdoor game in Michigan when they had the alumni game. It was probably better than the real game because they had all the old Leafs and all the old Red Wings playing. It was a great game, and the snow was falling. And there was Pommy doing cartwheels in the crease with a bad knee, kicking pucks out. I was just howling. I was watching it from the video room in Toronto, and I was just laughing at the whole thing. That's the way he used to beat us all the time. I know that.
Well,
and Kitch, I'll tell you a story about Kitch. Like when we put the new rules in 05, 06, the hooking, the holding, interference to benefit the pace of the game, we just had to look at a couple of Kitch's shifts, and he did all those things. So it was easy to get the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. It being hard to set an example like that, isn't it? I remember when we were coaching with Burnsy, Murph, and he would say, look, you hook on tight all the way down the ice, and you can't let him go. And you're just skating with the guy. And it's amazing how the game has changed, how quickly it's evolved from when we all played junior. I think our last, I don't know, Mike, Murphy, you would probably know, in the last 8 years, 10 years, it has really evolved, to a faster game because of the rule changes. Because back when we played junior, it was, it stayed it was very, very competitive, stayed the same along the way. There weren't a lot of changes through that period of time until just recently when we got into the lockout in 04, that really kind of changed the game and opened things up.
Yeah.
Well, like goalies too, right, Murph? I mean, goalie interference. I mean, my God, in the crease, how could you stay away from Pommy in the crease the way he's doing those cartwheels and handstands, making saves? I mean, you'd be bumping into him all the time, eh, Pommy?
Well, it sure has changed from a goaltender's point of view, with the size. And people often ask me, don't you wish you were playing now with all that money? And I said, I couldn't play it, with my size right now. You got to be big and strong. But the one thing that hasn't changed with goaltenders is the hockey sense, the goalie sense, reading the plays. That's one thing I've noticed. I was scouting NHL basically for 16 years. And as everything was evolving, one thing always stayed true, and that was the way they thought the game, the way their instincts were. That's how I judge players and goalies.
You can't replace hockey sense, Pommy, that's for sure. And I just want to bring up something with you. I remember back in 78, 79, maybe it was 77, 78. I think Roger was coaching the Leafs.
Yeah.
You had Tiger, you had Sit, you had Lanny, you had that checking line. I thought you guys were the toughest team, and Montreal was dominant at that time.
Yeah.
But I thought you guys, people always ask me, what's one of the best teams you've ever played against? What's one of the best teams you've played on? And I think back to the teams that Kitch and myself coached with Burnsy, which were great Maple Leaf teams. But I dreaded playing against that team with Tiger and Sit and Lanny and Turnbull and Salmi, yourself and Nets. You guys were the hardest team in the NHL. Everybody thought Philadelphia was. You guys were a miserable piece of business to play against. And I think if they had left you guys together, and I know that Harold got involved in the whole thing, and all of a sudden there was guys going all directions, everybody in the league was happy because you were one tough team to play against then. Boy, I admired your team and hated playing against you.
Well, I think we got to give a lot of credit. We had some great leadership in the dressing room with Sit and Lanny, and Roger Nilsson was quite a coach, ahead of his time, I believe. And he really brought us all together and put, you just mentioned the checking line, Jimmy Jones and Jerry Butler. Those guys were, it was different. We didn't do that back then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I know ourselves, like Kitch can comment on this, Blackie, is those Maple Leaf teams of the early 90s that we had the privilege of coaching alongside of Pat Burns, God rest his soul, were some of the most competitive, tough teams I've ever been associated with. They just knew how to play within themselves, how to play hard, how to win games through hook and through crook. And of course, the rules were a little different then. But whenever we see those guys again, it's like we were never apart, even though we've been 20 and 30 years apart. In fact, I'm going to a Starbucks about 2 weeks ago down at the Air Canada Center, or the Scotiabank Center. And somebody throws a napkin at me and hits me in the back of the ear as I'm in line. And I'm thinking, who the hell was that? And I turn around and look, and there's Gilmore. Unbeknownst to anybody in the shop or the Starbucks, it was Gilmore japping me from behind with a napkin and laughing the whole time. Nobody knew who he was, and I started to laugh. We sat down and talked for half an hour, but we were a really tight-knit group, those early 90 teams. And Kit, you can comment on that because I know you were really instrumental to the good defensive play we had, the defensemen we had, the goaltending we had. Of course, it was Potvin at that time who was really at the top of his game.
Well, that's so true, Murph. I mean, coming in, everyone knew what their job description was come with the team. And I think that's one thing Pat did a good job of is, you know, the offensive guys knew what their job was, especially in our checking line. They knew what their job was. And I think once you create that structure, and then we did have a team identity, which is so important. Well, in any team, any successful team, and our team identity was just being a hard-working team, you know, staying with the game plan, sticking with it. Even when we're down against Detroit in the series, we just played the same way, played and clawed our way back into the series, and eventually won in Game 7. But in going through those things, I think it makes it a lot easier when everyone knows what their job is. Say to come into it, and you know you're a defensive defenseman. Okay, that's what you're a shutdown guy. You're an offensive defenseman. You got to do this. Gilmore, Andrechuk, you got to move forward. You know, you got to create some offense for us, keep the other team off balance. But we had a good mix right through the whole lineup. So and like you're saying, Murph, it was a great the closeness of that team. It was like a team that, you know, when you win a Stanley Cup, you never forget one another. You got all those fond memories and things of that of the players because of the grind you went through. And we went through a grind. We had 3 series that went Game 7, and that was quite special. So it's too bad we just couldn't get to that next round. It would have been that would have been real special, Toronto, Montreal. Yeah. But you know, there was some real good player in between that threw a roadblock into us there. His name being Gretzky.
Yeah.
You
get asked all the time about the missed penalty, you know what I mean, on Gilmore in LA in 6 there. Kerry Fraser, of course, who's been a close associate over the years, having been with the NHL administration. And I'd always ask Kerry about that. He almost took it as a badge of courage after a while that it was, I missed the call and too bad, you know what I mean? But I know one thing, what I appreciated is nobody whined about it in our team. We had no whiners. Like that was an unacceptable behavior. You just dug in, moved on, and did the best you could. So very much unlike some of the games today and some of the people in our sport.
You guys give me goosebumps as I wear the stripes, and I could talk all day. I just want to listen to you, but I'm going to throw some quick ones at you. Just so you can give me one answer or a couple answers. And I'm kind of curious. So we're going to do some hot stove short snappers, if you will. And I guess we'll go, I'll just bring you all in. Your favorite moment in hockey, Kitch?
Winning the Stanley Cup in 2013. And then my second favorite is in 15 when we won. It's just special. They're just real special moments, you know.
You say that.
Palmy. Well, you want to make me cry, I guess, because my first year with the Leafs, we were playing Montreal. My first game against them, we shut them out 1-0. And I remember being waited. They were waiting to call out the 3 stars. And then my dad came up in behind and gave me a pat in the back. And wow, that was my best moment.
Good for you, Palmy. Great.
That's great, Palmy.
We're getting tears in my eyes, Palmy. Here, Murph, you go.
You know, I had so many great moments, like as a player, as a coach, and I mean great moments because I was on teams that I enjoyed playing. I think one of the biggest thrills I ever got is I got traded from the Rangers to the Blues, and I went back into Madison Square Gardens about 4 or 5 games later and scored 2 goals against the Rangers. So it was a big thrill for me because it's like, showed you guys. Not that it mattered, but for me, it was a big moment. I think another big moment is I know I scored an overtime goal against the Leafs in the playoffs. Boy, I want
Who
to
was
say
the goalie?
Not you. You weren't in. You weren't there yet. You weren't.
It was
there
an
yet,
empty
but
net.
It was a layup. Yeah.
I had a lot of empty net goals against me while I was still playing on the ice, except I was about 30 feet out of my net.
I never got near the crease with you there. Are you kidding me? You were chopping and hacking. You were like Billy Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, around the horn
You
again.
ain't
I'm
here,
gonna
Tommy.
start,
You got whacked, boy.
around the horn again. I'm going to start with you. The greatest player you played against.
Bobby Orr.
Kitch.
Bobby Orr for me. Gretzky
Well,
close second, but Bobby Orr.
I'm honored, and I agree with Murph, but I'm honored. I had an opportunity to play against Bobby Orr right near the very, very end, one of his last games, Wayne Gretzky and Lemieux. And hey, what a trio that is. And I feel blessed to be able to be on the same ice as those guys.
Yeah. Palmy.
Well, I missed Lemieux. When I got the last bit with Gretzky, as a matter of fact, the first game we played against Gretzky, I didn't think he was that good. And then at the end of the game, it looks he had 3 goals and 3 assists. He was certainly there. You know what? Mike Bossy was one heck of a shooter for me. I think he had about 8 or 10 50-goal seasons in a row, something like that. He's just one of those guys who had the magic. And I was always a little nervous about playing against him.
Yeah.
And most guys, people used to say, who are you afraid of? And I went, no one. I want to really face all the best guys. But I recognize how good he could be.
I'm going to start with Kitch. Best teammate you ever had?
Oh, wow. That best teammate. Boy. Well, when I was first broke in the league, we drafted a guy named Barry Beck, and he came in. And it was amazing how everyone feared him in the whole league in such a short time, right off the bat. Like, he established himself as a real good hockey player, a guy that stuck up for his team, and he was unbelievable. And then I was fortunate to play with Lanny, got traded to Colorado, and played with him for a year, and to see his leadership qualities are just above and beyond.
Let's go to you, Palmy. Best teammate.
You know what? I had so many of them, I think, especially it felt like early when I was just a young rookie. And you mentioned guys like Lanny, and I mentioned Daryl and Boria, guys that were leaders, the guys that looked after you. And Brian Glennie is another one that was, looking after me all the time. And but I probably would say of all the guys I had, Paul Harrison, my goalie partner, back in the late 70s, might have been the guy I was closest to, because we roomed together. We were in the washroom between periods having a smoke together. We were both, we're talking about hockey, and we're talking about that running out and doing those poke checks and all that kind of stuff. And he retired and went up and worked with the OPP up in Timmins. And I've been up there a few times to see him and do some fishing and that sort of things. And I've got some good stories that, we could talk about that were just too funny, more dressing room talk than anything. Go ahead, guys.
Best teammate?
I'm going to say there's lots of great teammates. It's really tough. As Palmy said, there's all kinds of guys I played with. Dion, Simmer, Vashon, guys that were terrific. I think the best teammate I ever had was a guy named Dave Taylor. And part of the reason was Dave was a really young player when he came to the league and came to the Kings, and he was my roommate for the first 4 or 5 years. So he kind of followed me around, and in no time at all, he was the best right winger on the team. And I was proud of the fact that I helped him be the best player that he could be, and kept telling him, you're really good. Like, just keep doing it. And part of being good in that era was you had to be a bit miserable on the ice. You had to be a bit nasty. And Dave had a nasty streak in him that he didn't always use. And I would always be on him. Be nasty out there tonight, David. Be nasty. So I think he was one of the best teammates. He went on to be a great success, should be in the Hall of Fame. His numbers are great. He was the captain of the Kings for a lot of years and just was a quality guy to everybody. Like the lowest guy in the team could come in the dressing room and Dave would treat him like he's a very important person. So he's one of the guys I've always admired. And no matter what he's done in life, he's been successful. Like he's a great player personnel guy with St. Louis right now. Doug Armstrong thinks the world of him. And it's really interesting when you see people who, like Doug Armstrong, think the same of Dave as I do. So he would be probably my best teammate. And I'll tell you one of the best teammates I ever coached, and that would be Bill Berg. And I think kids could back this up. We didn't even know who Bill Berg was. And Bill Berg was one of those guys who quietly came to our team and was the leader of the bottom half of the roster. Like not with Gilmore and Clark and Andrew Chuck, but for the guys who had to grind it out and play the tough everyday hockey. He was one of the leaders and one of the quality guys, like soft-spoken, but when he spoke, he carried a big stick with him. And I say that figuratively because he was a really good player, good teammate, good person. And I compare him and Taylor a lot, Taylor being a lot better player, but very important people in the success of a team.
Okay, I only got a couple more here. Sorry, guys. I think you got to take this to network television, the 3 mics. I love this stuff. Open mic with the mics. You guys are awesome. I could sit and talk with you all day. I want to ask you the big question that everybody wants to know. When will the Toronto Maple Leafs finally win the Stanley Cup again? Kitch.
Oh boy, I tell you what, you know what, they're going in the right direction. They realize what they have to add to their team, and that's probably the first thing of moving forward. You know, you realize where you need a little more strength in your throughout the team, and they're doing that. They're getting some veteran leadership in there now to help the young talent moving forward, and those guys know how to win, and I think is really important for them. And it's hard. It's hard in the city of Toronto. You know, there's a lot of the opposition is either has relatives in Toronto or they got closer family than relatives in Toronto, and they always get hyped up to play against the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know, everyone looks forward to that game. They mark it on their calendar. Oh yeah, we're going into Toronto. This is going to be fun. I'm going to see so and so, but I got to get maybe 10 tickets that might cost me $3,000. But you know, it was. I think they're moving on the right track. Moving forward. So a lot of things have to go your way to win the cup.
Are you okay? You're coaching. Is soon? Please tell me soon.
Oh, okay. Soon? Well, let's say within the next 3 years.
Oh, I like that. Palmy.
Okay.
My first thing is I love what Kitch said, and I think what they needed to add is some strength, some grit, get tougher on the back end, get ready to play playoff hockey. I mean, we know how good we can be in the regular season. I think it could be this year. I'll be honest with you, just because of the experience that we got. They're in their 40s. They're getting close to 40. So I don't know about 3 years from now, but having those guys as with their leadership qualities and adding some size and toughness on the back end. And I like our goaltending. I think Anderson can do it. So, and like Murph said, or Mike said, everything's got to go right. You've got to be lucky. And as far as, you know, playing in Toronto, Mike's right on that too. And everybody gets excited to play in Toronto. And Murph must have always had licking his lips when any team came into LA, because the last thing anybody was thinking about was playing hockey. So, okay, hot to you, Murph.
Yeah, I could probably ask Murph a lot of Hollywood starlet questions. I'm going to save those for another time. Murph, Coach Murph.
Yeah.
Can the Leafs get soon?
I think they're on the cusp. I think the league is so darn even this now. Like you look at the games against Columbus. Columbus might have been the worst possible opponent for the Leafs because of the way they play, the style of play. They got unbelievable goaltending. I think the Leafs are on the cusp. I think they can do it in 2 years. They could do it next year. As Palmy said, maybe through Kitch 3 years. They've addressed some of their needs. I think they have an excellent management team. I have the utmost respect for Kyle Dubas. He's a gentleman. He's smart. He's honest. He's fair. Whenever you deal with him, when I've dealt with him, I've had the utmost respect for him. So I know those type of qualities get passed on to the team, and the team starts to play like it's management. And I know we played like that in the 90s when Burnsy and Cliff were around. And I think good teams take on the personality of their management and coach. And I really do think Dubas is a terrific guy. And I think their talent is there. They've addressed the needs. So I'm with Palmy. I think Anderson's good enough, and I think they could easily win next year, maybe the following year. You don't know how the chips fall. Do you stay healthy? Who's your opponent? I think that they could have easily beaten Tampa. Tampa might have been an ideal opponent for them, as opposed to a Boston or opposed to a Columbus. So they're on the cusp. I agree with the guys.
I like correct. All those answers are correct, by the way. It's a game show. Guys, we're running out of time, but I do want to be, normally we'd be probably in a rink somewhere, or tonight in a room celebrating the inductees for this year's class into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Last question, if you can finish the sentence for me. I, Mike, am honored to be an Aurora Sports Hall of Fame member because. Yeah.
I, Mike Kitchen, I'm honored to be part of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame because my roots come from the Aurora. I had my family here. They were raised here in Aurora, and we picked Aurora because of the great closeness of the town and the people.
Palmy.
Well, I would say for me, it's a heck of an honor too, because, as I said earlier, I lived here, I guess, since 1985. My hockey career was over. I raised my two beautiful daughters here. I got a chance to help coach the Aurora Tigers for a couple of years back in the late 90s and work with the goaltenders. It just feels right now that here I am still in Aurora. It just feels good. I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah. And Murph, last word to you.
Well, for all of us, what could be more of an honor that when your community, your friends, your neighbors, the people your kids play with, when they step up and honor you as the Aurora Hall of Fame has done for Palmy and for Kitchie and for myself, there's no bigger honor, because that's just it's home for us. And when home gives you that type of respect and that type of notoriety, it just is really a thrill.
Yeah, home is where the heart is. You guys got great hearts. I have enjoyed this so much. I know everybody watching has. If I was a referee, I'd give you 2 minutes for looking and sounding so good.
Love it.
And I miss you all, and I know we miss everything. Can't wait to see all of you guys in person one of these days. But thank you for being extraordinary Hall of Famers. But even better, thank you for being great guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bud.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks, Kitchie. Thanks, Palmy.
See you guys.
Hey, yeah. See you, Murph. Palmy. Hey, great
Take
seeing you.
care.
Can't wait to get together sometime when this is done. Right?
Might see you out on the lake, Simcoe. I'll be out there Saturday.
Oh, yeah? What are you fishing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. That's about it. I think I'm going to get kicked out of here soon. So I just wanted to thank David Moreland and the Stemmels and the three hockey guys named Mike for sharing their stories and their magic of what it's like to be in a Hall of Fame. And to the honored members behind me, there they are, here at the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you for believing and inspiring those who play sport in your community. And for those of you who play, love your games, get good at them, love them enough that someday you too could be in a special place just like this. Well, time to slide. It's been cool. I'm not gonna lie to you, but at the same time, I think next year, let's hope that we never have to do it this way again. And we're all together at St. Andrews College for another induction ceremony. Until then, stay safe, stay together, and mostly keep being a good sport. Good night, everybody. Javid? Javid, take it away.
What a great Hall Star tribute it has been. Thanks, Rod, for hosting this wonderful event and celebrating with us and the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did, especially the conversations Rod had with Brian and Karen Stemmel, David Moreland IV, and the hot stove, the three Mikes, Mike Palmetier, Mike Murphy, and Mike Kitchen. Now we need your help. If you know of someone in our community that you think fits to become a potential honored member with the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, we're looking for those folks. Please go to aurorashof.ca and follow the nomination process link. There you'll find information about the nomination process. You'll also find the information to download the nomination form. Folks, it was a great event. Thank you again, Rod, for hosting the Hall Star Night, a tribute to celebration and conversation, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Stay healthy and stay safe.